uploaded a video, basically debunking the TLJ Kenobi comparisons. I see the ranting and raving. Film Threat's doing it now. It breaks canon. No, it doesn't break canon. But it's like now it's become the narrative. And you know, these are guys that just want to destroy Star Wars now. I'm convinced. All right, these are fans. They've never been fans. Again, I have a rule. If you haven't seen Clone Wars, haven't read the EU, you know, haven't even seen an episode of Rebels, you know, you don't know the lore, you don't know the history of the background. When someone says the name Darth Bane, you're like, you're not a Star Wars fan. If you think Kenobi breaks canon, you're a moron, and you're not a Star Wars fan. Why do I say that? I did a video. Go and watch the OT, and don't sit there and obsess over, when I met you last, I was but a learner. Now I am a master. First off, Return of the Jedi or Revenge of the Sith, Anakin wasn't a learner. He was a Jedi. He just wasn't a master yet. Shocker! But, of course, these are people who probably hate the prequels. So they're just concentrating on 3 movies when the story is 6. Okay? Go to watch Return of the Jedi. Ghost Obi-Wan. Your father is more machine now than man, twisted and evil. Well, we saw a little bit of that. He's going through the village killing people randomly, right, in the dark, to draw Obi-Wan out. And Obi-Wan was so fucking scared because he was like, what the fuck? He turned around and ran, and you don't really blame him. Jonathan, I don't know, but when I watch it, and of course, I'm going to say this. If George was involved, the same people would still be crying because they're ultimately prequel haters and they don't like Hayden and they don't like Ewan. Okay? I'm being brutally honest here. And the fandom needs to get past them. They're hurting the franchise by falling for every stupid fucking thing Lucasfilm does to bait them. You know, now we've got what's his face having Alex Jones on his show again. We are now in clown world. This says, look, that part of the fandom has devolved from asking Disney to do better, and now they are, to being fringe clowns. All right? I come from the political environment. All right? I'm a very serious person. All right? And I know my shit. And I tell you one thing, Alex Jones ever walked into our office, I would have launched him off the end of my foot. Because if you lay down with dogs, you get fleas. Okay? If you have someone who is that caustic anywhere near you, you are smeared with the same fucking paintbrush. Okay? So embrace your inner racist, I guess. Because that's exactly what they're doing. What did Alex Jones say about what made frogs gay? Pesticides? First off, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I had someone ask me today, did a Thompson submachine gun have the same action that an AR-15? I'm like this. No! I didn't say a word. I was like, you're kidding me, right? Anyway, but pesticides turn frogs gay. All right, without even having a biology degree. Watch Jurassic Park. There are some species of frog that actually can switch sexes in a same-sex environment. Okay, did I look that up? Fuck yeah, I looked that up. I want to make sure they weren't fictionalizing something, and they weren't. Okay, not that hard to figure out, but here we are. We are allying ourselves, or they are, and smearing the rest of us with an idiot who thinks that, who put that out on the radio. Okay, they go on Glenn Beck. You know why Glenn Beck got booted out of Fox? Because he's insane. He was causing trouble. He was starting shit with George Soros overtly. Okay, George Soros, here's the deal with that motherfucker. If you're gonna go after him, don't let him know you're coming. Okay? It's kind of like Vito Corleone looking at Sonny and saying, you never tell anybody outside the family what you're thinking. Okay? But no, here we are. You know, I can't, and look, it comes to a point where you're looking at people saying, you have to find a real job. You're hurting the fandom. Okay? Obi-Wan Kenobi is a good show. And sorry, Chris Gore, it does not break canon. All right, I couldn't even watch that video. Okay? They don't ever have anybody who disagrees with them on who's knowledgeable of the canon. And the reason why is they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to have to explain that they're wrong. Okay? And that they don't like it because of Hayden, Ewan, or they still hate the prequels. Oh, I'm not ambivalent. Look, you better pick a side on that. He's batshit crazy and he's a bad man. Okay? And if you want to be taken seriously, you don't ally with that creep. Okay? You just don't. I mean, he's fat, bloated, psychopath. All right? Just don't do it. It's embarrassing. Here's the deal though. They embrace the extremist label. Don't do it. All right? And if you want to actually get to the bottom of all this, have people who don't agree with you on your panels. Okay? Do it. Have me on. I'll come with video, proof. And I will put you on your ass. Okay? So let's go back to Quira. So we've got John Kasdan, and I put the article in the description, bitching or talking about, let me see if I can put it on here. I can't. But if one of my blue wrenches show up, maybe they can go into the description and put it on. He talked to Jon Favreau about making a show about Quira. Why would anybody want that? You know, so I did a live on Instagram. You can find me at Stephanie at the Cantina about why we didn't want it. The movie lost $250 million, and this is just the business side of me going, we're not spending any money on this shit. Okay, this is me going full on bottom line. George Lucas, because he'd be like, no, can't afford it. And the fans don't like it. Fans don't like it. $250 million gone. Poof. The movie was a hack job from the beginning to the end. You know, look. Do I have to go through the litany of why? You hired Lord and Miller, the Lego guys, who've never directed a live action anything. I really want to hire these young directors and give them a chance. Translated, I really want to hire directors that won't fight with me. That's what that was about. And all they did was fuck everything up and fight with John Kasdan or Larry Kasdan, who should have just said, fuck it, I'm going to direct. Because he is a director. He directed the great, Continental Divide and oh shit, what was that Western? Silverado? I can't remember. Besides writing Raiders of the Lost Ark, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Okay, here's the deal. He's finished. He's washed up. He's, getting ready for the old folks' home. You've got George Lucas. I don't know who that is. What, Joe Johnson? Um, Larry Kasdan is a joke. His son gets to write the script. Nepotism? The first sin after Lord and Miller was hiring John Kasdan to write it. Didn't work out, did it? And of course, awful Aaron Yuck being hired because of Steven Spielberg and Destry Spielberg. So we go on. We get poor Ron Howard, who basically had to reshoot the entire fucking movie with the same script. We have actors that don't inspire anything. Is it Woody Harrelson? The fuck was he doing in this movie? Donald Glover as Lando? How he was so great. No, he wasn't. He sucked. He sucked. And then we had the really poor choices of interview topics. Is Lando pansexual? And John Kasdan seeing the virtue signal sign going, yes, he is. I mean, as EVS called him, he's a sexual adventurer. Okay. This was the height of 2018 here, by the way. And I will not forget this. I will not forgive it. Okay. Joe Johnston. I don't know what he's directed, Jonathan. But this is the problem. People haven't forgotten. Okay. Now we've got, I think they should have got Sam Raimi. Or, Ridley Scott. Or, James Mangold to do it. All right. James Mangold did a really good job with Logan and Copland. He'd been great for Solo. Should have had better cast. I mean, it was like, this thing was captured by Kmart. Okay? This is the total fucking C team. But now we've got John Kasdan rearing his ugly head saying, I talked to Jon Favreau about Quira. Who the fuck wants Quira besides the 5 people who liked Solo, who read the fucking comic books? I don't read them. You guys don't read them. If they were written by people that respected Star Wars, but Marvel really fucking dropped the ball. I don't know anybody who likes Quira. All right. The only time you ever hear Emilia Clarke's name being mentioned is that she was naked in TV shows. That's it. She's skinny. She's not beautiful. She's mousy. And she's a slut. Indy 5's not a disaster. Again, that's another narrative that the usual suspects, Matt Kadish, and everybody else put out there. Okay? Not a disaster. It was taken away, as far as I can tell, by Harrison Ford from Kennedy. And if you know what my theory is, and I think I'm right now, is that he got hurt, but how hurt was his shoulder. 2 weeks later, he's out of the sling riding his bicycle all over London. Something was going on, and it wasn't his shoulder. That was the excuse. Okay. Then in October, Doomcock's rumors come out in the Daily Mail. Okay, they didn't come. The Daily Mail didn't watch Doomcock and put that out there. They got that from somebody. Okay. Hey, Jedi. Jay Cotto in the house. And it's like, I'm looking at it going, when it was moved back a year, she hadn't been on the set for months since the opening days of shooting. And people are like, oh, dude, shut the fuck up. That is right up there with her being involved with Kenobi. And I'll get to that in a second. Because somebody really pissed me off because they're not thinking. Okay? I expect you to think. Be serious. This isn't difficult. Politics, and reading the tea leaves, you don't have to be Einstein to do it. Okay? You don't. Anyway, and everybody who's bitching and moaning could if they wanted to. Unless they learned to read in the 90s and into the 2000s, and they probably can't read very well. Anyway, when that happened, and she lost Children of Blood and Bone, and the Acolyte keeps pushing back, even if Leslie Headland is adding things like medics and security and stuff to the production, but no filmmakers, no writers. I mean, I'm sure, there may be other people helping her, but she's the only producer listed. Kennedy is not listed as a producer at all. Okay. Kathy talked about it in Vanity Fair. No one said a fucking word at Star Wars Celebration. And the people who went that want to see it didn't talk about it either. It was not talked about at all. Okay? Not. Instead, a new show called Skeleton Crew is, and there's a rumor that they're going to have a non-binary kid in it. It's like, how the fuck is a kid what the fuck does that even mean? All right. So I will address that if more comes out. Okay? And that doesn't sound like a Favreau production. It just does not sound like it. Anyway, but it looks like that was the thing that was taking over for Rangers of the New Republic. Okay. So we got Kennedy. She gets everything taken away from her after those rumors come out. Children of Blood and Bone. All of her movies. No working yet on the TV shows. She'll talk about Lando because the jackasses want the 5 SJWs out there want it. It's like, okay. She goes to Star Wars Celebration. She goes out there on stage. She gets a very lukewarm, tepid reception. And then she leaves the stage. Favreau drags her back out several times. Then John Williams starts the theme to Indiana Jones from the left wing, and I talked about this before, but I'm going to reiterate it. Harrison Ford strides out. He's talking to John Williams. Misha, if I had more subscribers who hadn't, I've lost subscribers because they took the bait. They took the bait. And they don't believe Kennedy's going anywhere. La, la, la. I will advise you guys to go and check out Cameron Pasha's Patreon, because that's the only place you'll find decent observations. Anyway, Ford is talking about it's great that we're still both here to do this, and he's congratulating John on his 96th birthday. The maestro's a legend. Kathy, why don't you tell him when the movie's gonna be released? Over and over again. And what does she do all the time? She interrupts people when they're talking. And people who observed this, I've got eyewitness accounts Oh, he turned 90. Okay, thanks, Jonathan. Looked at her, Harrison Ford looked at her sharply. All right, like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Okay. Does anybody think he likes being interrupted? How many times has she interrupted him before? All right, we saw her interrupt Jon Favreau. And he's like, that's nice, Kathy. All right. She's not in charge anymore. She's not in charge of Indiana Jones. I feel strongly when all that shit was going down and it was just bad. Yeah, it's her biggest talent. And he was right, it is. And it was going bad that they were fighting, that there was infighting over the script, probably over Phoebe Waller-Bridge, etc., etc. Now, Harrison and Callista, I hate her, did take Waller-Bridge and her beard, this guy that was with her, I didn't know who he was, out to dinner in Sicily. All right, and that's, what they did. It's interesting to note that. Okay, but is she still in charge of Indy 5? Just because she has her name on it doesn't mean she had anything to do with it. Again, there's no evidence of her being on the set since this time last year. Yeah, I do like it. The first 20 minutes are pure Indiana Jones. All right, they're pure Indiana Jones. And there are parts I didn't like about it. I can't stand Karen. What's her name? No, what's her name? I can't stand her and Shia LaBeouf. Oh God. The story should have Karen Allen. Yeah, I couldn't watch her in it. First off, looking at all 4 films, my favorite female character has got to be Elsa Schneider, played by Alison Doty. Indy, when I see Marion, I see a tough, alcoholic woman. I mean, and I don't, I didn't say, I liked Willie Scott actually better. All right. And Shia, you guys remember what happened with him? All right, refresh your memory. He came out and insulted Steven Spielberg and basically said, well, to this point, he's kind of an institution, blah, blah, blah. And he said some other shit. And I was like, yeah, Kate, Capshaw. And everybody was pissed at him. Harrison Ford said this in public. He needs to shut the fuck up. Okay, there's a reason why there is no mud in this movie. It's because Shia LaBeouf pissed Harrison Ford off. And there's no way he was going to be in that movie. None. You don't go after Steven Spielberg like that and not raise the ire of Harrison Ford. Okay? You don't. Just like you don't go after George. Okay? You don't. That's why. I mean, Shia LaBeouf, let him make his little indie films and whatever. What time is it? So, let's go further. Hey, Trayla, how you doing? She's kind of a cool person. So now we've got the stuff with Kenobi, and if you went to watch my upload, I uploaded a video with examples of why comparing Kenobi to TLJ is silly because there's no comparison. And if you watch it, you'll see, and I'm going to tell you, I took one for the team. I got Baz Taylor, my videographer, tech dude, to cut out the scene where Luke says, I came to this island to die. I will train no more Jedi. I came to this island to die. It is time for the Jedi to end. That scene, and it just juxtaposed it to Obi-Wan talking to Owen about training Luke. Now, because, and I'm going to answer Doomcock's video here. If you think that Obi-Wan saying, when the time comes he must be trained, is just like it's time for the Jedi to die, I think you must be smoking some really good weed, because there's nothing in that exchange that says that. Now, if you're looking at the part where the young Jedi sees Obi-Wan riding this thing, is a camel thing, but it's like it's called an Eopie. E-O-P-I-E. Eopie. And he basically almost accosts Obi-Wan, and they have a conversation. Obi-Wan says, it's time to run and hide, go back to town. The Jedi are over. Now, I'm like, again, there's nothing comparing that to TLJ. Obi-Wan doesn't have a mission to train that kid. That kid's already a Jedi. Okay. Obi-Wan's mission is to watch over Luke, and when the time comes to train Luke, and maybe take him to Dagobah. Okay? Because that's what I think was the intention. To take him to Dagobah. When Leia gets captured, and Bail and Breha Organa contact Obi-Wan and ask him to go look for her, he's like, look, I gotta stay here and protect Luke. I can't do this. And when Bail shows up, she's as important as he is. He's safe. No one knows who he is. No one's gonna come here looking for him. And it's true. Okay. So if you think the show ruined Star Wars because it's not about Luke, well, the OT is about Luke. There's a ton of shit out there about Luke. Episode 16 of The Mandalorian was the Luke Skywalker show. Okay? And it's going to give us an idea that when Leia said, General Kenobi, she knows who they're talking about. Okay? Who Luke is talking about. It's very interesting to me seeing how people just don't understand what they're watching, okay? And this is why I think fans that are really steeped in the lore like what they're watching versus what I call casual fans, who like Star Wars, love Luke and Han, but don't understand, cannot intellectualize these things that we're talking about. Obi-Wan, when you're watching him sleep, he's suffering through PTSD. That is PTSD, all right? He's begging Qui-Gon Jinn for help. But, and this is where, when I hear people say, I like the show, but Obi-Wan is so stupid. What do you want? And what do you want? Do you want him to call on the Force and bring Vader to him? You know? He cut himself off from the Force, and that is an EU thing. Luke was able to do it. He was able to cut off other Jedi from the Force. All right? Okay. Obi-Wan did what he had to not bring any attention to himself. That's why. Okay? And watching people react to that, I just shake my head and go, I can't fucking believe how stupid some people are. Well, they don't read it. Yeah, and it's like, look, Leia is a girl, and I'm gonna, if I can get on a panel, I would just look around and say, you guys wouldn't like the OT because of Leia. You wouldn't. And don't sit there, because I wouldn't. They wouldn't. She was the first of the strong women. No, she's not a Rey. And she's not a Captain Marvel. She's not any of that shit. Leia was actually a very well-written female character. Okay, now they're attacking a little girl because she's taking the spotlight away from Luke. It's not about Luke. The show is about Obi-Wan and Anakin. Okay, has nothing to do with any of that right now. That the kids got to grow up before they get trained, right? Leia has to go back home. Okay, she has to learn how to be a senator. You know, she has to get through puberty. Okay, she's not even a prepubescent kid yet. She's just she's just a little girl. All right, Jonathan, what are you talking? Okay, you know, and just stop it. Just have fun. This is a good show. Obi-Wan doesn't do anything that isn't outside of canon. You know, when Chris Gore's gnashing his teeth that it breaks canon, it's like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, simpleton. It doesn't. Again, tell me where in the OT does it explicitly talk about Mustafar? One line when Obi-Wan and Vader are fighting does not make it non-canon. Because Return of the Jedi proves that. You know, why would Vader tell Luke, Obi-Wan once thought as you did? I did a video on it. Case closed. No, he hasn't, and you're a fucking moron and you're not listening to me. Shut the fuck up, or I give Jay the right to ban you, okay? I'm not here to listen to this shit. You're not a fan. You don't know shit about Star Wars. Merlin. Go back to watching Arthurian Legends, okay? This isn't a channel for people who don't read, who don't think, and who haven't seen Return of the Jedi in 20 years. Okay? And you haven't. Obi-Wan a coward. No, he's not. He fucking cut himself off from the Force so Vader wouldn't find him. So they wouldn't find him. Genius. Did you hear what the Grand Inquisitor said? The Jedi's compassion is like an itch that must be scratched. Okay? All right? You could tell Obi-Wan wanted to help that dude get his money. But he wasn't going to. Okay? No one knows he's there, you douchebag. Jay, where are you? No, they don't know shit about Star Wars if they're fans. If they're not SJWs, they don't. Obi-Wan's a coward. No, he's not. He's hiding. It's called not, I mean, how fucking stupid could you be? Oh, I know. If Ryan Cannell said it, it must be true. If Ryan Cannell said it, it must be true. I mean, that's what this is coming from. These people, again, if you don't know the canon, you haven't watched Clone Wars, you haven't seen an episode of Rebels, in Rebels, Vader toys with his prey, like a cat. Vader is now animalistic. He's complete rage and instinct, okay? That's what you're watching, all right? He randomly killed villagers to draw Obi-Wan out. He wanted to fight him there. Obi-Wan ran because Obi-Wan knew he couldn't handle him. There's no shame in that. I call it a tactical or a strategic retreat. Wait and fight another day when you've got the fight in you to do it. Okay? All right? Now, are we going to see him fight again? Yeah. What's going to happen in the next one? I predict Obi-Wan is in a Bacta tank and communes both with Yoda and Qui-Gon Jinn. How they're going to get Leia away from Reva, I don't know. Now, I'm going to say this. That character is serving a purpose. Reva. Is she going to have a redemption arc? I'm going to blow your fucking minds, but that's what Star Wars is about. So for you guys offended that there's a black woman playing a villain, I can't help you. Okay? I can't. You know, now they're talking about season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I'm like, no, we don't need another season. We don't need another season. We're fine with that. Okay? And Jason Ward was the one that puked that out. Yeah, and you're right. Because he was old. He's powered down now because he hasn't used the Force in 10 years. Now, for Merlin and anybody else who wants to sit and bitch, a Jedi? Yeah, it is. But of course, it's woke because she's a black woman. Okay, and the sky is purple, right? I want to, what color is the sky in your world if you actually think that? Now, let's talk about the stupid rumor that Jason Ward puked out there on Twitter. He put it out there that they're going to do a season 2 and that Reva was going to be in it. I think she's dead now. And if they do a season 2 with her, her arc is not done yet. Okay? But she is not a woke character. Why did Carrie Hart get a job at Lucasfilm? Well, it's not because she was talented or merited it. No, she's not. But, you know, look, anything to push super chats and AdSense, right? I mean, you know, it's look, this has become a business. And the moment this becomes a business, we get this shit, okay? The institution has been corrupted. It has. Where is that going? Now, I don't think there'll be a season 2. I don't think they need it. I think it should end with this. That's my opinion. I don't know where they're going to go with it. I think what they should do is probably have a show about Vader. All right, hunting rebels. All right. And we need to see the Emperor, I think. Okay. And I think, and I'm going to tell you this, if the Emperor finds out he let Obi-Wan go, he's going to have questions. Okay? I think you feel compassion for your old master. You know, I think that's what's going to happen. But it's storytelling. But to call Obi-Wan a coward for sticking to his mission for 10 years is fucking ignorant, and it's stupid, and it's mean-spirited bullshit. This is what the fandom has been reduced to. So fuck off, okay? The only coward here is someone coming to my channel with the IQ of a goldfish and saying something that's stupid, okay? All right? Watch Clone Wars. You know, watch Rebels. Okay, it's not as good, but it's still got stuff you should see. Okay, watch or read the EU. Okay, I guarantee you, 90% of these people have never heard of Quinlan Voss. They were like, who? They didn't hear about him. All right, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with Star Wars fans that have never heard of these Star Wars characters, Corran Horn. All right, they know about Mara Jade because, she's a redhead. That's it. That's the only reason why. Only reason why, okay? Um, they liked Boba Fett because of his uniform and his armor. And it's like, this is the kind of fan that watches, John Wick movies and wets themselves. They need images constantly shot at them. They don't think. They don't they don't take the time to make themselves familiar with the canon and then get pissed off at you and you're going, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay? I can't do it anymore. All right? And, I don't do this to enrich myself. I don't need the money. I don't do this to be popular. I don't give a fuck. Sure, I'd like, 200,000 subscribers. Yeah, Jonathan, you're exactly right. And I am going to say that to somebody one of these days. I am. And we could be having so much fun talking about the show. Hi, Coachy Bear. He's a tired boy. He's a very tired boy. Well, it's, look, I had a long talk with a friend who, basically was like, look, they don't want to be called racist anymore. And I said, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I could see it. After 5 or 7 years of this shit, ignore them. Ignore them. Okay? We have lost sight of the ball. Decanonize the sequel trilogy, fix Luke, Han, and Leia, and get rid of the sequel trilogy characters we don't like, which is Haldo, Rey, Kylo Ren, Poe, Mao's fourth wife, Rose, all of them, And in fact, I say, in order not to give the fans PTSD, get rid of Finn. Okay? Get rid of all of it. Put it in a corner and say, this is bullshit. Okay? Now, I'm wavering right now on if they're going to do it. And I do get that way. I do have my doubts at times. But then I'll see someone say something really cool. Okay. We don't know what plans the guys have. Well, it's not that difficult to do that. I mean, it's like some of the people talking about how great Casablanca is. There's a lot of subtext to it. They know it. They know it. There's a lot of subtext to Star Trek 4, to The Wrath of Khan, to Jurassic Park, for Christ's sakes. And then you wonder, were they even aware of that? I agree with that, Jonathan, I agree. But they have to get rid of those characters. You can't rehab Kyle Ron or Rey. All you'll be doing is giving these channels ammunition. I said this to my friend the other night. I feel like if I was the mom and like Lucasfilm's social media PR story group started picking on the kid who's a fan and calling him names, the fan retaliates. Now you got a war. I'm fucking done with both of you. You go to your room. You go to your room. I don't want to see you guys anymore tonight. I'm done. You're both at fault. Because that's truth. It's a self-licking ice cream cone. Round and round we go. And little hamsters on their minds running back and forth, trying to figure out how to retaliate. And it's like, stop it. Be the bigger person. Say, I'm not a racist, fuck you, and ignore them. Okay? Just ignore them. All right? Do you think Johnny Depp is screaming about what the media is trying to do to him right now? No, he won. He's on tour with Beck, with Jeff Beck. He don't care. He won. Be the bigger person. Okay? Think about how Kennedy reacted on the stage at Star Wars Celebration. She didn't want to be there. 90% of the audience hated her guts. The loud ones who like her, there's not very many of them. Here's the deal. How many of you here are fans of Elon Musk? Put a 1 in the chat. Because I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think that when he stopped the buying of, well, yeah, and Sci-Fi Universe is right. I don't think no, it's not. The self-licking ice cream cone. Because Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner aren't equals. These are equals. Look, we've got channels that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. They have a huge, wide influence on people. They're probably actually more influential than the show media. Okay? Okay, so they're equals. All right. Self-licking ice cream cone. Okay. Anyway, what was I talking about? I can't even remember. Shit. Damn. What time is it? Well, it is a bad faith take. But hey, you know what? If it earns money, will every time, and, as, Jeremy Griggs once said, if every time you do that, I'll monetize it. All right? And that's what they do now, all of them. All right, and it's dishonest. Okay? But you got to remember, he was the one that liked TLJ till he realized everybody hated it. Okay? That's as authentic and as real as he is. All right? But we've got to get past this. And there has to be a place for fans to congregate that hate the sequel trilogy, hate Solo, mock the High Republic, and really want Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant to get the fuck out of here. Okay? Because we don't have a place. Everybody that I have had respect for has been a complete letdown on this. They know it's good. They know it. And it's like, look, you might make money if you actually said it was good. Look at Star Wars Theory. Okay? He's actually taking his time to unpack it. But look at what was going on with Kennedy. She didn't want to be there at Star Wars Celebration. And I don't know who, I'm not going to say who it was, but it was one of you guys, wrote me a very, very, very long email. And she said it was obvious Kennedy was done. Her body language, everybody, okay? Everything about him, her, was, I'm done. And Jon Favreau kept trying to drag her back. But then when she started interrupting Harrison Ford, he gave her quote unquote sharp look. He just looked at her like, you don't like being interrupted. Okay. And now when I think about that, and he shut her up, Indiana Jones is his movie. And I bet you $1,000 he was the one behind the production of it now, not her. And I'm going to say something else. Her husband was doing something else that day. Oh, that documentary about jazz was being shown. He produced that. Frank Marshall doesn't go to these things with her. Okay? He doesn't. And it is really telling I think someday someone's going to write a book about all this shit, and a lot of people are going to owe me and Cameron and others big apologies. Okay, and Craig at Reviews for You, apologies. All right, I don't expect them. We're owed apologies, but I don't expect the apology. Okay, and it's when I see this stuff and I'm watching it, and I'm doing this with it. We've become a business. The fandom has become a business. Okay, and it's not a good thing. We're supposed to be fans. You want a business? Open up a shop, sell something. You want a business? Get an MBA and be a CEO, or work for Elon Musk. Do something like that. But if you're running a fan channel, be a fucking fan, okay? All right. Now, is Chris Gore a fan? No, he's not a fan. He's a business. That's fine. That's fine. I don't hate him. His take on Obi-Wan Kenobi is utterly unfathomably asinine. But I've got another fan who makes movies, or a friend who makes movies, who hates it too. And to him, I'm going to say, look, write your own script and send it to Favreau and Filoni and try to pitch it to him, okay? Pitch it to him, all right? I asked him, have you ever seen the Clone Wars? No. Have you ever read the EU? No. Seen Rebels? No. Did you realize that Jedi can cut themselves off from the Force? No, they can't. It's canon. And it's not because Luke did it in TLJ. It's canon from the EU. Okay, they brought that forward in several different ways. Okay. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about then. You don't. All right? If you don't know who Quinlan Voss is, who Corran Horn is, you didn't realize that it's EU stuff flying out of the portholes in the show, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? I mean, look, these silly people can talk about Mara Jade all they want. They don't know anything about her. They saw Shannon, what's her face, and we're like, oh my God, Mara's so hot. They don't care about the character. They don't care about the character. It's like this. I like Boba Fett because his armor's so cool. He's an antagonist. He's a bad guy. I didn't like him. All right? I hated him. All right? Because it's called really seeing what the show is. And it's, look, it's partly giving your subscribers what they want. And to me, what I think the few people here that come here want is a realistic take. And we get our trolls. We get people who really aren't Star Wars fans, like Darth Merlin, and others, okay? We get them, and they're just here to piss people off. They know about, I think, Revan. But I don't think they know about the rest of them. I don't think the Grand Inquisitor is dead. There's something about the way Vader put him to the side that made me think Vader's got a plan here. Vader's got a plan here. And I have a feeling that these gamers only play Mario Kart. Yeah, and that, now we've got other people saying that, no, it's clear sign she's still there. Ugh. What is a figurehead? I don't know. It's somebody who it's placeholder. That's it. Queen of England. She don't have a lot of influence on politics. You better be happy too, because she's quite the lefty. And her husband was really quite the lefty. I loved Prince Philip. Funny AF. But he was very much hated other human beings. He had a quote when he met, I can't remember where they were from, but met their 5 children and go, why would you have so many? There are people who don't value humanity. I mean, Elon Musk basically said we could have twice as many people on this planet and it wouldn't make a difference. And he was right. He's right. But there are people in the fandom with huge, look, Geeks and Shamers has admitted he doesn't know anything about Star Wars. This is all just a game to him. Yeah, the Inquisitors are 100% EU and rebels, okay? He doesn't know anything about it, all right? He just does this to make money. There's a dishonesty and I think he kind of buys a little bit of the climate stuff, but I don't think he blames humanity entirely. He knows a lot about a lot of different things, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't know about that. She really fought hard with Margaret Thatcher, who's one of my heroes, by the way. And they just bullied the fuck out of her in The Crown, which is such a dishonest show. Anyway, I gotta go pretty soon. But I just wanted to do this because go watch that video. I played him twice on the video. I've got Luke telling Rey he went to Actu to die, and that it was time for the Jedi to end. And then I've got the Owen versus Obi-Wan argument, okay? And, the idea that he's being a coward, fuck you. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to leave you guys with this. Darth Berlin, if you're watching, I hope so. If you've got a 300-pound, 7-foot monster who, if he gets his hands on you, will tear you apart, coming at you, and you're not capable of dealing with him, you're going to turn around and run, okay? You're going to try to figure out a way to defeat him in a different time. It's called a strategic defeat. And Obi-Wan was scared shitless. He wasn't going to go out and confront him because he wasn't strong enough in the Force, okay? Now, if Obi-Wan, and I think because this is episode 3, so we've got 3 more left. Oh yeah, that's all they are. Yeah, you're right. Where was I going with this? Obi-Wan will probably be in Bacta. Okay? Obi-Wan will be in Bacta. He will probably be able to commune with Yoda through it. And he'll probably be able to talk to Qui-Gon Jinn. Because Qui-Gon will be able to help him. And he'll be able to get enough of his, there's a reason, I look at, I was the learner, now I am the master. I look at that and go, you know, he could be talking about the emperor, which he was the apprentice to the emperor. He was enslaved to the emperor. Or, my darlings, he could be talking about the next fight where Obi-Wan kicks his ass. Okay? Now, go to another line in A New Hope. Your old master, surely he's be dead by now. Why do they think he's dead? Yeah, of course he knew it was Anakin. And the reason why is because that idiot Reva told him. Yeah, I think that we're going to see Liam Neeson. I think it would be great. And hey, David, I got to go pretty soon, so, because I've got to, well, I can stay a little longer. But, no, I'm going to stay. Look, I'll stay for another 20 minutes. Okay, we'll have a long one today. I haven't done a long one in a long time. Back a few years ago, Liam Neeson talked about one of his friends being raped back in Dublin by a black man. And he said he walked around Dublin with a baseball bat looking to beat the shit out of a black man. It didn't matter who. And, when you think about it, it's a young kid seeing a girl that he knew, that he liked, who was a friend. And, that's it. I mean, you look, I'm not going to judge somebody by something they did 50 years ago. Okay, and that's about when it happened. And I'm going to tell you something. At that time, Ireland was having trouble because the IRA was running around trying to unseat the British from Belfast and in Northern Ireland and bring those counties in. But I'm going to tell you, give you a little bit of Irish history. Back when Queen Elizabeth I was Queen of England, she started moving Protestants from Scotland to Ireland to repopulate that at least some of the island with Anglicans. All right, and that has been a problem for Ireland for hundreds of years. Okay, it's the religious wars are stupid, but the way the British have treated the Irish it's apartheid. I mean, when Oliver Cromwell was running England, he beat the hell out of the Catholics in Ireland. He was horrible. Okay, and so when I see stuff about the IRA being a Catholic, at least the old stuff, I don't mind it. I mean, they deserved to have their country back. Okay. Now, like when the bombings of Oma, that's a bridge too far. Okay. What was it? 1998 that happened. All right, you guys are way past your past due date. Okay, go away now. I mean, it's time to stop it. To me, a Catholic supporting the IRA because they're Catholics is kind of like a Muslim supporting ISIS because they're Muslims. Okay, you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, I don't believe the Quran told you to do that, okay? And I don't believe that God would want you to do that. Stop it. You're pissing people off. But anyway, back to Obi-Wan Kenobi. We got Indira Varma as Tala, and she's, a rebel agent. a former Imperial officer. We've got, people were, I mean, this is another thing. Complaining that Obi-Wan beats the shit out of all those stormtroopers at the gate, then a bunch more show up. And he doesn't do anything. It's like they had the drop on him. What was he supposed to do? Okay. What was he supposed to do? Anyway, let's talk about how dark it was. When you see that stormtrooper fall and go through the fence and get cut in half, that's not for kids. That was a dark. That was dark. That was about as dark as Star Wars has ever been. Okay, that was right up there to Han Solo being tortured in The Empire Strikes Back and hearing him scream, which, when I was a kid, I wasn't afraid of Vader. I wanted to kick his ass. This show made me afraid of him. There's something about artificial light that, to me, brings a very much a lot of honesty to somebody. Okay? And there's something about this thing coming out of the dark that is scary as shit as AF. And Vader was fucking Roman on these people. He went fucking medieval. Yeah, it did, but we never quite saw it happen, you know? We didn't quite see Pondo Baba standing there and Obi-Wan going like that and taking his arm off. We just saw this flurry of action, and the arm went flying. Okay. I mean, they wouldn't even let us see Chewie pull Unker Plutt's arm out of its socket in TFA. Do you believe that shit? But we get to see that. Now, Vader coming through the village. The Inquisitors are standing there. They all bow their heads. It's Hayden in the costume. Okay, it's Hayden. And he's going along, and he stops like this. Now with Vader, because you can't see his face, it's all action. Okay? It's all, action. So when you see a Jedi stop, and he's looking around like that, he senses something. That's what's going on. Vader knew Obi-Wan was in the vicinity. Because, again, Obi-Wan saving Leia started up the Force. Very weakly, but it did. So he keeps walking, and he starts killing people randomly. Snaps a kid's neck, picks up a villager and just throws him. Picks up another one and, plays with him like a cat, throws him. He's trying to draw Obi-Wan out for a fight. Okay. Obi-Wan turns around and runs. Sees what's going on. He's like, holy shit. And he's not a coward for running. I'd run. I'd get on my fucking horse and take off. There's no way I'd stay around for that. Because I know I can't stop him. Okay. And that's the point. That's the point. And he's not a coward for running. And when he tries to fight him, Vader just beats the shit out of him. I mean, he douses a fire, he starts it up, he grabs Obi-Wan by the neck, starts dragging him through the fire like a cat with a mouse. And then throws him out of the fire, and then stops the fire and tells the stormtrooper to go get him. The kid from the 501st starts walking over there. Tala shoots him. Then she starts a fire in between everybody, and Vader lets him go. Now, this is a part that I'm still not sure of. Why did Vader let him go? Playing with him, or maybe following him? We'll see if he leads us to more Jedi. Because, again, who's still alive? Quinlan Voss, which means other Jedi, are still alive. Okay? Vader knows it. I mean, look, her Dipshit Reva going, we're here for scraps. We should be looking for Kenobi. Vader knows far more than those guys know. Okay. He's not telling them everything. If Quinlan Voss is still alive, maybe Mace Windu is still alive. Okay. Maybe, think about the other Jedi that we didn't see get killed. Okay. Now we know Plo Koon is dead. We know, the Twi'lek Jedi, I can't remember her name. We know Ki-Adi Mundi is dead. We know Kit Fisto is dead. All right. But there were Jedi that died, that were killed, or that lived. And well, he was dragging him through fire. Because he was basically saying, you're going to see how, basically he says, you'll know what pain is. All right. Look, I burned, it actually healed up pretty well. I got some hot olive oil on one of my fingers the other day, and it hurt like a motherfucker, and that was a first degree burn. Okay. And you know how badly Anakin was burned. All right, so you can imagine, and that pain and suffering is not going away. His breathing and other things. Okay. He can't even taste, he can only taste food if he takes off his helmet. He has no joy in life. Okay, so you gotta think about that. This guy is enjoying doing this shit to this man who was his friend, his brother, father figure, because he blames him for what he became. And that is fucking sick. Okay, but this is what Anakin has become. Okay, he is right now pure dark side. This is Vader at his apex. He's only going to get more powerful. Okay, remember him trying to board the Tantive 4? Remember that? That was easy for him. He killed like 20 guys. Yeah, he is in hell, and he's bringing hell with him everywhere he goes. All right. And as Obi-Wan said to him, after Anakin telling, you turned her away from me, Obi-Wan's standing there, you did that yourself. So him blaming Obi-Wan is here's the deal. It's something I don't think a lot of fans understand. They don't. They don't understand. It's about taking responsibility for the bullshit, okay? It's about, ooh, look at my hair. It's about taking responsibility for your actions. Okay, Anakin, was buying the corruption of the Republic, and the Republic was corrupt, but it could be fixed. All right, he was under the influence of a man who was Satan, and who had convinced him that doing away with the Republic and the Senate and everything was the right thing to do, because it was all corrupt. Okay, so, and Anakin thinks he's right. He looks at the Jedi. The Jedi weren't corrupt, they were complacent. And they were sitting on their laurels. They had a lot of hubris. And a Jedi with hubris will fail. Okay? And that was, I think Master Yoda knew it. I don't think he knew how to fight it. I think he would, caution Mace Windu. Mace Windu was the most arrogant. A Jedi can't afford to be arrogant. Okay. I think the perfect Jedi in the prequels was Qui-Gon Jinn. Okay. He didn't follow the code all the way because Qui-Gon saw the complacency and the hubris. All right. He knew there had to be, it had to be fixed, a reality bite. It's kind of like, if any of you are watching The Offer, watch it. It's fantastic. There's a moment when in the late in episode 7 where no 7 where Al Ruddy is going to visit Joe Colombo, who was just shot in his hospital room. Now, Joe Colombo, I'll give you the skinny, was the head, the boss of the Colombo crime family, one of the 5 families. And he, in retaliation for the way the FBI was treating Italian Americans, he started the Italian American Civil Rights League. Now, that really kind of pissed off the rest of the bosses, and especially Carlo Gambino, who was the boss of the Gambino family and the boss of bosses. He was basically kind of took Jonathan. He kind of took the job of boss of bosses from Lucky Luciano. They were pissed. There was a guy named Joey Gallo who had been a capo, I think, for the Colombos, and he was causing trouble. And he had spent like 10 years in prison. And he had one of his guys shoot. Yeah, I think so, Qui-Gon Gimli. And he had one of his guys shoot Joe Colombo at a rally. And after that, Al Ruddy, who produced The Godfather, shows up at the hospital because he was friends with Joe Colombo. And one of my favorite characters, Caesar, who's one of the Colombo soldiers, basically said to him, "Oh, there's going to be a war, and it happens every 20 years. Okay, so when I look at what's going on with the Jedi, Order 66, it's almost like the Force decided to clean that out because it wasn't working. You know, people were getting too emboldened. I use Mace Windu as a example of hubris. Okay, Mace Windu would not acknowledge Anakin. He didn't like Anakin. He was afraid of Anakin. And Mace Windu thought highly of himself. Okay? All right, and he paid for it. Is he still alive? I don't know. But when I look at this stuff, when I see what went on with Order 66, in some way it's kind of biblical. Okay? But, you know, the Force, God, will always come back and save the righteous. Okay? And, you know, with Luke, he did. Okay? And the righteous is the fallen angel, Anakin. Okay? And my husband hates it because he just wants Vader to be the bad guy. He just wants Vader to be the bad guy. And when I've tried to convince him that it's about the redemption of Anakin Skywalker, who that really is, and he doesn't get it. And that's too bad. I mean, look, there are enough bad guys in the world in reality, and it's always nice to see, I think, a great tragedy, but a redemption arc with a character in fiction, okay? And that's ultimately what it is. But, and I'll let you guys go with this because I've been on way long. When you see Vader in Obi-Wan, he is an animal. He is animalistic. He has absolutely no humanity in him at all. Okay. And when Obi-Wan asks him, what has become of you, or what happened to you? I am what you made me. Vader blames him, and that's exactly what he would do. All right. Star Wars theory likes to bring up the fact that the only two things that Vader really has to live for. No, Anakin was conceived here's the story, and then I really do gotta go. Anakin Skywalker came before Luke. In fact, those script treatments were done before the OT was, as far as I remember, as far as I know. So Anakin, it was always going to be his story, okay? And George held on to those because, again, he didn't know if Star Wars was going to be anything. Yeah, right. You're exactly right. Yeah, and Misha's right too. And Luke takes the place of Padme. Okay, Padme, I know there's good in him. I know this. And then Vader repeats kind of that to Luke. No, he doesn't, but he says, Obi-Wan once thought as you did. Why does he think that? Why does he say that? Because I posit this. In episode 4, we're going to have Qui-Gon and Yoda. We're going to have Qui-Gon and Jinn say, hey, Anakin is still there. Now, before I go, that picture of Anakin, Vader, I'm still not sure what that means. Is it Vader or is it Anakin? Is Obi-Wan imagining him? Or is he really there? I think it could be Anakin asking for help. Okay? I mean, we've got him completely assumed by Darth Vader. Okay? Completely. But they are two different people. When you think about it. Vader is literally all the ugly, the rage, the impatience, the insecurity, all of that. One little tiny part of Anakin that basically took him over. Okay, that's how you gotta look at this. And to the people who think Obi-Wan was a coward, yes, he did. To the people who think Obi-Wan was a coward for running, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you're not fans. You're really not. Okay? And to the people who think they can do better, write a script and submit it to Favreau and Filoni. Get a meeting with them. Get a pitch meeting with them. Okay? Do it. If you can. I'd like to see the embarrassment that would come out. Because you'd probably be told, this is in Star Wars, this is why. A, B, C, and D. All right, anyway. I gotta go, because I gotta get ready. We've got... Well, today is Pentecost, and I've got to go to dinner, then we're going to a lecture, and then we're going to Mass at 8. I did not know I was volunteered for this. I should be sitting in a church pew right now. Okay, anyway. But I gotta go, and it's okay. I mean, I probably need this. And pray for my husband's uncle. They put him into hospice yesterday. We're going to go see him tomorrow. And I don't know if he's going to make it through the next week. Anyway, see you guys around the galaxy. Behave, be safe.